Good morning, chat room friends, everyone worshiping with us online. It was great to have you with us for our 8 o'clock service, or maybe you're joining us a little early for the 9:15 service. We are so happy that you are here. Now, I have a question for you this morning. Have you ever wanted to learn more about what goes into our worship life together? Maybe what's behind the music, what's behind the different components? Or maybe have you ever wanted to learn more about our church in general, the different ministries and the groups to be involved in? Maybe you want to get to know each other a little bit more, or maybe you just want to learn more about Christian life in general. Well, you are in the right place. We have just that for you today. This is that which takes place in between the before and the after. This is the Interlude. I am Pastor Matt Knopf, the Executive Pastor of Innovation here at La Casa de Cristo, and we couldn't be more excited to have you joining us today because we have some very special guests. This is a little peek behind the life of our worship together. Come on in here. We have some of our bell players today. If you were at the 8 o'clock service, you saw some of the bell players here today. We have two of them, our duet this morning. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves? And if you don't mind, please share your name. Also share how long you've been participating in the life of La Casa de Cristo and maybe any of the various ministries that you've been involved with.
Good morning. I'm Barbara Schwab, and I joined La Casa de Cristo in the mid-90s, I think about 95. I started playing bells at Christ the King Lutheran Church when Pastor Joel was there, and then I've been playing here at La Casa since 1995. I've also participated in the Bible studies. I work on the memorial committee, and I also help with the Angel Tree program.
Fantastic. Over 25 years of service here at the church. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, mine isn't quite that long. My husband and I joined in 2009, mostly because of the bell choir, to be quite honest. I've played in the bell choir ever since. I've been a greeter. I do the welcome table. In fact, I'll be doing it today after the 9:15 service. And I belong to Naomi's Daughters.
And share with everybody your name.
Linda Meurer.
Linda, since 2009, and what brought you here was the bells, the bell
Exactly.
choir.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a special passion and love for the bells?
I do. My husband and I both did. He's passed away, but I still continue that passion for bells today.
Well, we're so grateful for you continuing that passion of the bells with us here at La Casa because we get to enjoy the benefits of this wonderful music. And so today in worship, the two of you have a bell duet together. Is that right?
That's right.
So for those of you that were already in worship 8 o'clock, you saw that. If you're coming up to worship at 9:15, you're about to see that. What are the names of the pieces that you're doing today?
We played Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee, and we played, what else did we play? Morning Has Broken.
Morning Has Broken.
Yeah.
Now, it looks like you make it look very easy. When you go up there, you play these bells, which we'll look at in just a moment here. You go up there, you do your piece. It's fantastic. But I imagine before this Sunday morning, there's all kinds of work. There's all kind of preparation, lots of practice that goes into it. Can you give us a little taste of what that looks like? Do you practice at home? Do you practice here at the church? How does that work?
For these particular bells, we practiced at home, at my house, because they're my bells. I have a whole bunch of bells at home. And so Barb and I practice there pretty much every Sunday afternoon.
So how many different bells do you have?
Me? I have a 4.5 octave set of regular handbells and a 3 octave set of handbells. I have a 5 octave set of chimes and 2 octave set of the cymbals here.
And how long have you been playing bells for?
Since 2007.
And what first introduced you to the bell choir?
The church I went to at the time. I had been traveling for work, and then I wasn't traveling anymore, so I could do something. And they had, like we do here, a ministry Sunday where you could go all around and see the different ministries. And the bell choir director was there, and I asked her if I could join, and then I dragged my husband into it.
A good way to do it. So we have one of those fairs coming up here, the Get Connected Sunday coming up in early August here, where we'll have lots of different tables and people can get introduced to different ministries. And I know for sure that the music ministry will have one of those tables there. So if anything piques your interest in this segment here today, I invite you to visit that table, get involved with the bell choir, the music in general, right?
Yeah.
So if we could, please, let's move back to these bells. I noticed something right away about this particular sets of bells, that they are different than usual. Usually when we have the tables up here, you have the bells laid down on the tables and they have the handles on them.
Right.
But these are a little bit different. Can you share with everyone what is the difference between this set of bells and other bells that we've seen? Yeah.
Yeah, Barb has one of our regular handbells, and you can see it has a clapper, right? And then it has a handle. And the clapper is fixed, so there's a particular place it hits the bell, because the best place to ring the bell is right here in the waist, or whatever you want to call it. But these bells do not have any clappers. They don't have any handles. They're fixed on this stand, and you have to play them with a mallet. So instead of ringing like this, which you do with the regular bell, these you hit this way.
And where do you purchase these bells?
These particular bells are Malmark bells. There are two different bell foundries in the United States. One is Malmark and one is Schwab. The church's bells are Schwab. Mine are all Malmark. And so these particular ones came from Malmark.
So it's my understanding that there's these two companies that make all the bells in the United States here, and they're highly competitive, right? These two
Yes.
companies, which means that the different sets from the different companies are not compatible with each other. Is that right?
No, they can play together. I've played
Okay.
in many choirs. In fact, I'm about to go to an international symposium where there's going to be probably 30 or 40 choirs, and not everybody's got the same kind of bell. So they don't really clash. It's just some people think that the Schwabs have a richer tone, and some people think that the Malmarks have a brighter tone, but they're all tuned to the exact same pitch.
Okay. So they may be designed a little bit differently to give it a different sound. And where's that symposium going to be held?
Nashville,
In Nashville. And when is that?
August 1st through 6th. So I won't be at the
The
ministry.
Get Connected event. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so you're going to be heading there. Now, Linda, I want to ask you too, how you got pulled into the bell choir here. What was your connection?
I played bells at the previous church, and I really enjoyed it. And so one of the reasons we joined La Casa was because I wanted to play bells here. So I started when Marcy Hans was our bell choir.
Okay.
Was our director for the bell choir.
Very good. So I hear that you're going to give us a little sample of some of the sounds today. If you could just play a little bit of the opening of that song that you're doing in worship today, and we can get a little taste of these bells.
We will if you'll play first.
Oh my goodness.
I just want you to play the scale, the bottom ones.
Right down the line
Right.
here?
Now the trick about these is you have to hit them right at the waist or they won't sound as good.
Okay.
Nice job.
Thank you very
we might
much.
sign you up for the bell choir.
Oh my goodness. We can't wait to hear a little taste here, and we'll hear more in worship, but let's hear just a small taste of worship, and I'll come back in and we'll talk some more.
Okay. Just I think the first page. Sure. Okay, you ready? Yes. 1, 2. How that?
Beautiful job. Beautiful job. Now, here we often use the term bell choir. I think in other parts they even say bell team. It's very clear that this is a choir, a team effort. They're not individual instruments.
Right.
Can you talk to me a little bit about that, especially when you have the full bell choir up here, how that works with each individual playing a part of the larger team?
You're right, it's a unique instrument. Why? If you play the violin, you can play by yourself. If you play the flute, which I used to do, you can play by yourself. But it takes all of the bell choir to cover every note that we play. I don't know if you want to add anything to that. Oh, there you go.
I think the really hard thing is that everybody's motion can be different, and so when the clapper actually hits the bell, can be slightly off, and on smaller bells, of course, it's a much smaller distance it goes versus the bigger bells where the clapper takes longer. So keeping everybody on the same beat and ringing it exactly the same time on the beat is very challenging.
And who is your director here at La Casa de Cristo for the bells?
Jeremy Peterman.
Dr. Jeremy Peterman, so he's a good one to see if anybody really wants to get plugged into this. The different sizes of the bells, are there different difficulties when they're laid out on the table versus the big ones and the small ones, or is it all kind of the same in terms of playing them?
The larger ones, we need the stronger men to play. They can be hard, but sometimes when we don't have that, we can mallet them instead. And some bell choirs have much larger bells, so obviously stronger people need those. And the smaller ones, sometimes you'll see we play 2 in each hand, and we're able to do that with the smaller bells and cover more octaves that way.
And one more question I have is, we often see bell players wearing the gloves. Why do they wear the gloves?
Bells can tarnish, and when you touch them, they get fingerprints on them and they tarnish, so we try to keep to wear the gloves so that we don't tarnish the bells.
Also, especially for the bass bells, it prevents blisters.
Prevents blisters.
Yeah.
Very important.
Because it really can really blister your hand.
Well, I thank you so much, the both of you, for adding to our worship life here with the wonderful music we read throughout the Bible and the book of Psalms, lifting up music to the Lord. And we thank you for your participation in that. And anybody else who wants to be involved, we invite you to contact the directors of our music department here at the church. And we look forward to joining you in worship now as we're going to hear more from our handbells. And thank you, everyone, for joining us at the Interlude.